Hi. I don't know why I'm making this video. I wanted to do more video game recordings. But anyway, I started recording this whole game and I got about halfway through it until I lost my data. So I'm just going to do the final boss because I did finally beat this stupid game. It's not a stupid game, it's a good game. But the final boss kind of sucks. So, yeah, I don't know. Anybody who's looking for the final boss can hear me talking over it. It'll enhance their enjoyment. Okay, so first of all, to kill this boss, you have to get all of these items. Like, look at all these fucking items you have to collect. Just to get... You need this bell, and you need this, Phoenix thing. So pretty much you have to do every secret in this game to really... I mean, you only need you don't need the bell, but the bell only takes about 20 minutes. It's the Phoenix thing that takes longer. But anyway... Once you have those things, and the sword, and the shield, and the armor that you get on the last level, you finally kill the final boss. If you can kill him, because he's still really hard. It took me like 10 tries without the bell, then I went and got the bell, and it still took like 3 tries. So this is my 4th attempt. I already did it, but I wanted to do it again and record it, because I just loaded my save up. Okay, so beforehand, let's see here. You gotta get ready. Soul Blade, Soul Armor, Magic, set it to the Phoenix, and the item, set it to the Super Bracelet for the first boss. And the good thing about this boss is that you can come back to it. Let me make sure I have an herb. You can come back to it as many times as you want, but you need an herb, so you have to go get the herb. I mean, you could probably do it without the herb, but it's already really hard. Oh, that was so hard, yeah. No, there's another part. Some people believe being constantly reincarnated means everlasting suffering. So he's getting all meta on this. That's cool. His floating skull. His final form looks just like the most generic final boss. It's always like a devil. Like, it's either the devil or it's like a demon or something on the Super Nintendo era. Okay, so now we need this bell. And this boss has 3 attacks, and they all suck. I'm only saying this, I'm acting like I've done this many times, I've only done this once. But, okay, the first attack is these blue columns, and they're useless, but fortunately you don't need the magic, so it makes it a lot easier. The worst attack is this gem thing, and if you see, you can actually control it. If you stand on the left and wait till he shoots, you can avoid it. It's impossible to avoid otherwise. But the moment you destroy all the blue columns, that flame attack comes, and I think that does the most damage. It's really hard to tell. But anyway, it seems like an easy boss because I figured it out, but until you figure out the pattern of the lasers, it's very difficult. It's almost impossible. And if you don't have the magic item, it is like literally impossible. Like I would be surprised if a really good player could do it. I don't know that it's hard, it would take a lot of time. It would take hours of attempts because, I mean, or you could, theoretically you could unequip the magical attack every time you tried it. But yeah, it's a lot less exciting now that I've kind of boiled it down to a science, but it doesn't ever change either, it's the same thing. I think the lasers get faster, and he changes colors sort of. But this is the only boss in this whole game that doesn't have a life bar. It's really obnoxious, because normally you could just, like, look at the life. But yeah, for anybody who's trying to complete this game, this is probably the strategy that works. Because the rest of the game is pretty easy. I mean, I don't know, there's a couple of tricky parts, but for the most part it's pretty easy. This part, however, is a fucking pain. It's so common in the Super Nintendo era for these games to have like really easy parts up to the end, and then they just get ridiculously hard with like no warning, like intentionally, but developers didn't care. Like at that point in time, you could easily spend $60 on a game and just never finish it because the developers thought that making it harder would like increase longevity. I mean, it kind of does, but it's in kind of an artificial way because it's It's just hard. Yeah, that's what makes this boss hard, is the fact that it won't fucking die. Like, you'd think it would be dead now, like, because it's so redundant, but no, I think I'm probably, like, halfway through it. When he's about to die, he kind of does. I think he might have just done it. He might be about to die, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's a pretty hard boss, I gotta say. I'm surprised at how hard he was, considering how easy the rest of the game was. That Belvac. I don't know if he's about to die or if he's halfway through his health. It's impossible to tell. The first time I did this, I was like extremely happy because it is really hard. Granted, this is on an emulator, so I could use save states, but I don't know, that kind of destroys the purpose of it. I think so. I actually own a copy of this game, and I rented it as a kid, and I never finished it as a kid. It was too hard. It wasn't too hard, it was just... It got too hard at the second stage, and if I had just stuck it out, I probably could have finished it. I don't think I could have finished this boss as a kid, though. I wasn't that good at it. There he goes. Fucking asshole. Almost did it without needing an herb, but... whatever. And yeah, my character's name is Ejaculan. There was like a whole story behind that. It was really entertaining, but... you'll never see it. But, yeah, and then it's just a typical generic ending, you know. You've stopped the dark, evil force, and the good wins, and blah-de-fucking blah. It's nothing interesting. Well, there's a lot of... I noticed there's a lot of text in this game for a not very well-written story, considering there's a character named Turbo the Dog in it, and Lou the Dolphin, and Dr. whatever his fucking name is. Dr. Leo. Dr. Leo sounds like the name of like a Beatles song or something. But anyway, okay. It's really funny though, if you name the character anything relating to jizz or ejaculation, it'll say things like, Ejaculan was swallowed into the painting. It's fucking hilarious. It's one of the funniest translations. I think that the English translation of this was done really badly. This game was made by Enix. And they're I don't know if it's Enix or Enix, but they're a Japanese company. And everybody today knows about Square Enix because they make really big titles like Final Fantasy 13, and they even made they even published like the Deus Ex game, the new Deus Ex game and stuff. So everybody knows them. But back in the day, those were two different companies, and they didn't make drastically different games. I think I like Squaresoft a little bit more than Enix, but they made very similar games. So I think that when they merged, it was only logical. But I think that I don't think the developer name really means anything. It's the people who are it's the team that's working on the game. From knowing some developers personally, and just from just knowing the game industry. Anyway, I don't know what this guy's talking about. Something about says a king and he wants chicks and he murdered 100 people. Something about Stalin. I don't know. This king wasn't even like a main character. Like, you only talked to him one time. Like, I don't know why the game's focusing so much on him. I always wanted a game as a kid. I always wanted a game where they built a statue. Like if it was like Morrowind and you like defeated, like, how hard would it be for them to just reconstruct the statue of your character and put it in like a lobby or something? It wouldn't be that difficult. They could just, like, clone whatever it is and just set it in the middle of the town on a pedestal and shade it gray and bam, statue. But I always thought that would be cool to have a game like that, or Fable or something. Although I thought, as a kid, I thought Fable was going to be awesome. Not as a kid, but as in my mid-teens, I thought Fable was going to be awesome, and it turned out to suck. Because it was made by Peter Molyneux, or whatever the hell his name is pronounced, and he made Dungeon Keeper and Black and White and all these amazing games. And I found out he was making a game like Morrowind. It just turned out to suck. But whatever. Morrowind was more than worth it, and Skyrim and Oblivion were good. I don't know what this. I'm gonna think I'm gonna skip over this story because it just sucks. I do like that there is an ending though. I like that the game actually bothered to make an ending because I just beat Secret of Mana, and that game takes like hours and hours. And after you win, it's like two sentences and then the credits. It kind of blew my mind compared to this. Anyway, that's I'm gonna cut this off at like the 12-minute mark if it goes on beyond that. But anyway, for people who play the game, the story is really not that bad in Soul Blazer. Now there's also Terranigma and Illusion of Gaia. I don't think I could do a recording of Illusion of Gaia because that's a very hard game. It's very hard to record it because you have to backtrack everywhere. I like Illusion of Gaia better than this. And there's also Terranigma, and they're supposed to form like a trilogy, but I don't really know how because they're not really that similar. I don't know how they're supposed to form a trilogy. And Terranigma, I don't know if that was ever released in the United States. I only ever played the ROM, but if you haven't played Terranigma, definitely play that. That's the best of the three, and it's very hard to get a copy of it that isn't a ROM, I think, or I don't even know how you would emulate it. So, or get a Japanese copy, and you'd have to speak Japanese. There's an English ROM patch, I think, unless it was released in America. I never heard of it. I never saw it in stores, and I did play Illusion Gaia and Soul Blazer as a kid. I rented both of them. Both awesome games. You'd think, part of me feels like Secret of Mana belongs in this trilogy somewhere, but it doesn't. Because Secret of Mana and, I don't know what the other one was. Secret of Evermore, those are two really similar games, and you'd think that those were tied together, but they're not. They just use the same system. They're not related as far as I know. But they were both made by Square. I'm really rambling right now. I'm a little tired. But anyway, that's Soul Blazer. It would have been cool to do the whole game, because there's some really funny moments in it that are just ridiculous to look at. Like the English translation, I think, is just like a joke, but not just because I named my character Ejaculate, but just because. By the way, it was going to be Ejaculate, but I ran out of letters. I never got why they only make character names up to 8 characters. Like, is it that hard to make it more than that? Because my name, I guess it is 8 letters, so it's perfect. But in games like Harvest Moon, your name can only be 4 letters, and it's like, what do you do then? What if your name is Sebastian, or Michelangelo, or, I don't know. I can't believe I'm still watching this ending. Yeah, you place the dream rod upon her head. I don't know how old that girl is, but that's pretty funny. This song in this game is actually really depressing. Like, it always happens during these dream sequences. And I actually, like, this here is kind of well done, and the dream sequences with, there's one where you see a guy on a boat with his son, and then it turns out that dream sequence ends up being the boss, which is like this giant skull, so you just assume that they died. Who knows what killed them, but it's like really depressing. I don't even know if this character is supposed to be his love interest, because I was pretty sure this guy was gay, because he has a tiara on, and like, I don't know, like Power Rangers spandex. Well, I don't have a choice. I guess the game is still going on, I don't know. But anyway, I've finished a ton of Super Nintendo games, and I finished almost all of the RPGs. I think Chrono Trigger and Lufia might be the only ones I have left now. I'm not sure. I've never finished Chrono Trigger. Oh, and the Final Fantasies. But outside of that, I think I finished all of them. At least except for the really obscure ones. There's a couple that are extremely obscure. Oh actually surprised that this is like a good ending though, 'cause it's that's a cool layering effect. I think that's probably the Mode 7, making it appear 3D. I think the Mode 7 was really underrated on the Super Nintendo, because even in modern, even on like the DS, you know, they still can't really get 3D that looks really impressive. Like, I think the Mode 7 just looks really impressive for some reason, because it's like 2D sprites go flying out, and they appear 3D. And I don't know how they did that back in the day, but it must have been really difficult to make something look 3D in 16 bits, but it's, the thing is, it's like 3D cartoons, it's not like 3D, For those who don't know what Mode 7 is, if you've ever played Secret of Mana, when you jump in the cannonball and you fly up in the air. Whoa, what the hell? There were no drawings like that in the rest of the game. At least Lisa's an adult. Now I feel good that I placed my dream rod on her forehead. She could have been like a child, but no, it was this grown-ass woman. I think. I mean, it's hard to tell. She's got kind of a mannish jawline, though. Although, to be fair, she could be a man. Because I heard that a lot of anime artists, they start with a man body and then they create the female. Because it's just easier to do. They just start with like a short man and then they add tits. Although I guess you could just say that all women are just short men with tits and a vagina. But I don't know, it seems kind of cynical, but true. Why does this game care so much about this Lisa chick? She wasn't barely in it for the rest of the game. Now we're just finding all these things about this Lisa. I think she was the son of the doctor, or the daughter of the Dr. Leo who dies, so it's supposed to be like really dramatic, but I don't know, it's more weird and kind of creepy. But anyway, yeah, no, good job, Tomoyoshi Miyazaki. Good job, Masaya Hashimoto. I've killed that boss twice now. I think I'm done with this game. Probably never going to play it again. It's not that great. It's very repetitive, but it is a very good game. I will say it's good, but not great. I will say that it's one of the better action RPGs from this era, even though it's one of the only action RPGs on the Super Nintendo. You'd think there'd be a lot, but there aren't. But it is a legit action RPG where you level up. But anyway, I'm not going to watch credits, so bye.